Welcome to my channel, Voice of English. Have you ever felt like life keeps pushing you down, no matter how hard you try? Have you ever wanted to give up, but something deep inside tells you not to? In this video, I'll tell you the story of a boy who refused to quit, a boy who turned every failure into a step toward success. And by the end of this video, you'll discover something powerful, that this story is not just about him. It's about you. Do you ever face something that made you want to give up? Chapter 1. The Beginning. A small dream in a big world. He was just a small boy living in a quiet town. The streets were dusty, the houses old, and life was simple. But inside that boy's heart, something was burning. It was a dream so bright that it made him smile even on the hardest days. He wanted to do something big. He wanted to make his life special. But nobody believed he could. Every morning he walked to school with his small bag and a head full of thoughts. The other children laughed when he spoke about his dreams. They said he was too small, too poor, too ordinary. His teacher told him to stop dreaming and focus on what was real. Those words hurt, but inside he whispered to himself, maybe one day I will show them. At home, things were not easy either. His father worked long hours and was always tired. His mother worried about money. Sometimes there was not enough food. Sometimes the light went out because they couldn't pay the bill. Yet even in those dark nights, the boy sat by the window and looked at the stars. They gave him hope. He thought, those stars are far away, but they still shine. Maybe I can shine too. He was not the smartest in class. He was not the fastest in sports. But he had something most people didn't. He had a heart that refused to stop believing. Every failure became a lesson. Every insult became a push to try harder. And even when his eyes filled with tears, he never let them fall in front of others. He kept his pain inside, and he turned it into energy. One day, there was a school competition. Everyone had to stand on stage and speak. The boy wanted to try, but his friends laughed again. You can't do it, they said. You'll forget your words. For a moment, he felt small again. His hands shook, his heart raced. But something inside whispered, just try. He walked onto the stage. His voice was weak at first. He forgot a few lines. Some people giggled, but he kept going. He didn't stop. He finished his speech with a trembling voice but a proud heart. That day, he didn't win any prize. Yet something magical happened. He felt strong. He felt alive. He realized that trying was already a kind of victory. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about that moment on stage. It was not about winning. It was about courage. He learned that courage means doing things even when you're scared. That moment became his first step. A small step, but it changed everything. The next morning, he woke up with a different feeling. The world looked the same, but he was not the same boy anymore. He had seen what it felt like to fight his fear. He had felt what it meant to keep going. From that day, he promised himself one thing. He would never stop trying. No matter how many times he failed, he would stand up again. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Life didn't get easier, but he got stronger. When people laughed, he smiled. When things went wrong, he learned. He began to understand that life is not about being perfect. It is about being brave. Sometimes, when he walked alone, he thought about his dream. It still felt far away, but now he knew something very important. Dreams are not meant to be easy. They are meant to test you. They are meant to make you stronger. He looked at the world around him, big, busy, and sometimes cruel. But deep inside, he told himself, even if I am small, my dream is not. He didn't know how or when, but he believed one day things would change. He started helping others too. When someone fell, he helped them up. When a friend failed, he said, "Try again." He had learned something powerful. When you lift others, you lift yourself. By the end of that year, he was no longer the shy boy in the back row. He had a quiet confidence, a light in his eyes. People still doubted him, but now it didn't matter, because he had learned that the world only believes you after you believe in yourself. And so, the boy kept moving forward, one small step at a time. He didn't know where the road would take him, but he walked it with hope. Because sometimes, the smallest dream in the biggest world becomes the strongest light of all. Chapter 2. The First Fall. When everything goes wrong. The boy was growing. His heart was full of hope. He believed that if he worked hard, everything would go right. For some time, it did. He studied more. He practiced speaking every night. He felt proud. He thought maybe life was finally changing. But life had other plans. One day, school announced a big competition. The best students from every class would take part. The winner would get a special prize. The boy's eyes shined. He wanted to join. He believed this was his chance to prove himself. He spent days preparing. He practiced in front of the mirror. He imagined people clapping for him. He could already feel success coming. The day of the competition arrived. The school hall was full. Everyone was watching. The boy walked onto the stage with his paper in his hand. His hands were cold, his legs were shaking, but he took a deep breath and started speaking. For a few seconds, everything was fine. Then suddenly, his mind went blank. He forgot the next line. His heart started beating fast. He tried to remember. Nothing came. The room went quiet. Someone laughed from the back. Then another person. His eyes filled with tears, but he didn't cry. He stood there, trying to smile, but it was painful. He mumbled a few words and left the stage. The laughter followed him. It felt like a knife. He went home and locked himself in his room. He sat on the bed and cried quietly. He felt like all his hard work had been useless. That night, he looked in the mirror and asked himself, "Why did I fail?" He felt angry at himself. He wanted to quit. He thought maybe everyone was right. Maybe he was not good enough. For the first time, his dream felt far away, like a star fading behind clouds. The next few days were hard. People whispered when he passed by. Some called him the boy who forgot his lines. His teacher didn't say much. His friends stopped talking about the competition. Everything felt empty. But one evening, as he sat alone under a tree, an old man came and sat beside him. The man was the school gardener. He had seen the boy practicing many times after school. The old man smiled and said, "You know, when I plant a seed, it doesn't grow in one day. I water it every day. Sometimes the sun is too hot, sometimes the rain is too heavy. But I never stop watering, because one day the seed becomes a tree." The boy looked up. His eyes met the man's calm face. "But what if it never grows?" the boy asked. The old man smiled again and said, "It always grows. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it grows. You just need to keep watering it." Then he stood and walked away. Those words stayed in the boy's heart. Keep watering your seed. He repeated them again and again. Slowly, his sadness started turning into strength. He realized something important. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of learning. The next morning, he woke up early. He stood in front of the mirror again. His voice was weak, but he spoke. He practiced the same speech he forgot on stage. He made mistakes, but he didn't stop. He practiced again and again until he could say every word without looking at the paper. He went to school with a quiet smile. When his friends teased him, he didn't get angry. He knew they didn't understand. They had never failed deeply enough to know how much it teaches you. Weeks passed. The pain slowly became motivation. He learned how to speak better, how to stay calm, how to handle pressure. He started to understand that every fall teaches you how to rise stronger. One day, the teacher asked him to read a paragraph in class. His heart started to beat fast again, but this time he smiled. He stood up and read clearly. Everyone listened. When he finished, the teacher nodded with pride. It was a small moment, but it felt big inside his heart. That night, he wrote in his notebook, "I failed, but I learned. I fell, but I got up." It became his new rule for life. Whenever he faced a hard moment, he opened that notebook and read those words. Sometimes he still felt afraid. Sometimes he still remembered that day on stage. But now, it didn't hurt as much. It reminded him how far he had come. Life didn't become easy after that. There were still many more challenges waiting for him. But something had changed forever. He was no longer afraid of falling because he knew that every fall gives you two choices: to stay down or to rise again. He chose to rise, and that choice made him different from everyone else. He had lost once, but he had won something more valuable. He had won courage. He had learned that when everything goes wrong, that is the time to show your true strength. Chapter 3. The Fire Inside, Learning from Failure. The boy had failed once, but that failure had given him something powerful. It had given him a fire inside. It was small at first, like a candle, but each day it grew brighter. He wanted to become better. He wanted to learn. He wanted to prove that falling once does not mean falling forever. He started paying attention in class. He listened carefully to every word his teacher said. He watched how others spoke, how they moved, how they expressed themselves. Every day, he tried to learn something new. Sometimes it was a new word, sometimes a new idea, sometimes just a new way to think. He began to see the world differently. When others saw problems, he saw lessons. When others gave up, he saw a chance to grow. He realized that every failure is like a mirror. It shows you who you are and what you need to change. One afternoon, while walking home, he stopped by a small bookshop. The shelves were full of dusty old books. He looked around and found a thin book with torn pages. It was about famous people who failed many times before they succeeded. He started reading it. The more he read, the more his heart filled with strength. He read about a man who failed in business many times, but never stopped trying. He read about a painter who was rejected again and again, but kept creating. He read about a writer who got hundreds of no letters before one yes, and in each story he saw himself. He thought, if they can keep going, why can't I go? From that day, he made a promise. He would stop being afraid of failure. He would start using it as fuel. When he failed, he would not say, "I am not good enough." Instead, he would ask, "What can I learn from this?" He began to wake up earlier. He spent time reading, practicing, and thinking. He didn't care if people noticed or not. He was not doing it for them. He was doing it for himself. Sometimes, when the sun rose, he would stand near the window and whisper, "Today I will do better than yesterday." That small sentence became his morning habit. It kept the fire alive. He didn't become perfect. He still made mistakes. But now, those mistakes didn't break him. They taught him. He realized that strength does not come from never falling. It comes from rising every time you fall. One day, his teacher gave a surprise test. Everyone in class looked nervous. The boy felt nervous too, but he smiled. He'd been working hard. When the teacher handed him the paper, he took a deep breath and started writing. When the results came, something amazing happened. His name was among the top 3 students. For the first time, people looked at him differently. His teacher smiled and said, "Good work." His friends were surprised, but the boy just nodded. He knew this was only the beginning. That night, he didn't celebrate. He sat quietly and thought about his journey. He remembered the day he failed on stage, the laughter, the pain, and then he thought about how far he had come since that day. He realized something very important. Success feels good, but learning feels even better. He also began helping others who were struggling. When a classmate failed, he said, "Don't stop. Try again." When someone said, "I can't do it," he replied, "You can. I did too." He was no longer the boy who only dreamed for himself. He wanted everyone to believe in their dreams. As days passed, his confidence grew stronger. He started to believe that the mind is the most powerful thing in the world. When your mind says you can, nothing can stop you. When your mind says you can't, even small things feel impossible. So he trained his mind to stay strong, even in hard times. Every time he faced a challenge, he remembered the fire inside him. That fire became his best friend. It reminded him of who he was and why he started. When he felt tired, it whispered, "Keep going." When he felt weak, it shouted, "You are stronger than you think." He began to understand that life is like climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the harder it gets. The air becomes thin, the rocks become sharp. But when you reach the top, the view makes every step worth it. The boy was still far from the top, but now he knew how to climb. He was not afraid anymore. Failure was no longer his enemy. It had become his teacher. And in his heart, the fire kept burning brighter, teaching him one powerful truth, that every great story begins with someone who refuses to stop learning after they fail. Chapter 4. The Test of Patience. When Dreams Take Time. The boy was growing stronger every day. He had learned how to rise after a fall. He had learned how to keep the fire alive inside his heart. But now, a new challenge was waiting for him. It was not failure this time. It was something harder. It was waiting. He wanted success to come fast. He wanted his dream to happen now. But life does not always move at our speed. Sometimes it moves slowly, very slowly, and that slow time can feel like a heavy test. The boy kept studying. He kept practicing. He worked hard every single day. But weeks passed, and nothing big happened. His marks were good, but not great. His speeches were better, but still not perfect. His dreams still felt far away. He started to feel tired. He asked himself, "Why is it taking so long? I am trying so much. Why can't I see results?" One evening, he went for a walk. The sun was setting, painting the sky in orange and red. He saw a farmer in the field, watering his plants. The farmer looked peaceful. The boy asked, "How do you stay so calm? Don't you get tired of waiting for the crops to grow?" The farmer smiled and said, "A seed grows when the time is right, not when you want it to. My job is to water it, not to control it." Those words stayed in his heart. He realized that dreams are like seeds. You plant them with hard work. You water them with patience. But they bloom only when the time is right. You cannot rush them. From that day, he decided to be patient. He stopped asking when and started focusing on, how can I grow? How can I improve today? How can I keep moving forward, even if it's slow? He woke up early every morning. He read books. He practiced his speaking. He helped his parents at home. He did not talk about success anymore. He worked quietly. Slowly, people around him started to notice the change. He had become calm, focused, and strong. Sometimes, when he saw others succeed faster, he felt a small pain inside. But then he reminded himself, their time is different from mine. My journey has its own pace. He learned not to compare. He learned that comparing kills happiness. One afternoon, his teacher announced a new chance. There would be a big inter-school speech competition in 3 months. It was open to all. The boy's heart started beating faster. This was his chance. But this time, he was not overexcited. He was steady. He knew that good things take time and effort. He started preparing from that very day. Every evening he stood in front of the mirror and spoke. He recorded his voice, he listened to it. He corrected his mistakes. He didn't wait for motivation. He worked even when he felt lazy. That was patience, doing what you must, even when you don't feel like it. As the days passed, he improved. Slowly his voice became stronger. His words became clearer. His confidence started to shine again. But inside, he stayed humble. He knew that one competition could not decide his worth. He was already winning by not giving up. A few days before the competition, he sat alone in his room and thought about his journey. He smiled softly. He realized that the waiting had changed him. It had made him patient. It had made him wise. He understood now that true strength is not just about trying again. It is about waiting calmly when nothing seems to work. The day of the competition came. He stood backstage, ready to perform. He felt nervous, but it was a calm kind of nervous. He was not afraid of failing anymore. He had already grown so much. He whispered to himself, "Whatever happens today, I will keep going." He walked on stage. The lights were bright. The room was silent. He started speaking. His voice was clear. His heart was steady. He spoke from his soul. When he finished, the room was quiet for a second. Then everyone clapped. He didn't know if he had won or not, but he felt peace. That night, he sat under the same sky he used to look at as a child. The stars were shining above him. He thought, the farmer was right. The seed grows when the time is right. I was the seed. And now, I'm beginning to grow. He had not reached his dream yet, but he was closer. And more importantly, he had learned one of life's greatest lessons. Patience is power. It is what keeps dreams alive when the world feels slow. He smiled, closed his eyes, and whispered, "I will wait. I will work. I will win when my time comes." And with that thought, the boy who once wanted everything quickly learned that great things take time and strong hearts never rush. Chapter 5. The Turning Point. When effort meets opportunity. The boy was growing. He had learned how to work hard. He had learned how to be patient. His dream was still the same, but now his heart was stronger. He no longer wanted quick success. He wanted real growth. He wanted to become someone who never stops trying. Months passed after the competition. He didn't win first place, but he got second. Still, that small victory gave him great joy. He didn't stop there. He kept practicing. He kept reading. He helped his classmates who were weak in English. Teaching them helped him learn even more. He didn't know it, but all those small days of practice were preparing him for something big. Something that would change his life forever. One morning, the school announced a national-level speech contest. Students from many schools would come. The winner would get a scholarship and a chance to speak in front of important people. Everyone in school got excited. The boy wanted to take part, but he stayed quiet. He had learned not to rush. He wanted to be sure he was ready. His teacher noticed his silence and said, "You should try. You have worked very hard. This is your chance." The boy nodded. He smiled a little and said, "Yes, I will try." That night, he sat with a notebook. He didn't just write a speech. He wrote his story. He wrote about dreams, failures, hope, and courage. He wrote about how every person can rise again after falling. He wrote from his heart. For the next few weeks, he practiced every single day. He spoke in front of the mirror. He recorded himself and listened. Sometimes he didn't like how he sounded. Sometimes he forgot words. But he kept improving. He worked on his voice, his body language. his confidence. There were days when he felt tired. There were nights when he felt scared. But every time he wanted to stop, he remembered his promise: never give up. Finally, the big day arrived. The hall was huge. Hundreds of students were there. The lights were bright. The boy sat in the front row, his paper in his hands. His heart was racing fast. He looked around and saw many talented students. For a moment, doubt entered his mind. Maybe they are better than me, he thought. But then he remembered all those mornings, all those late nights, all those failures that made him strong. When his name was called, he stood up. He walked slowly to the stage. Every step felt heavy, but his heart whispered, "You can do this." He reached the microphone and took a deep breath. He looked at the crowd and smiled. Then he began to speak. His voice was calm at first, then stronger, then powerful. He spoke with emotion. He spoke from his soul. He talked about dreams and never giving up. He told everyone that life may test you, but if you keep going, life will reward you. The room was silent. Every person listened. Even the judges looked moved. When he finished, there was silence for a second. Then the whole hall filled with applause. He smiled, but not with pride, with peace. Because deep down, he knew that his effort had finally met his opportunity. After the competition, people came to him. His teacher hugged him. His classmates congratulated him. He felt happy, but also calm. He had learned something powerful. Success feels sweetest when you've worked for it for a long time. Later, when the results were announced, his name was called. He had won first place. He couldn't believe it. He stood there with tears in his eyes, not because of the prize, but because of the journey. He remembered all the days of practice, all the pain, all the patience. And now, it all made sense. That night he sat outside under the stars again. He whispered, "I did it." But then he smiled and said, "No, we did it." Talking to his younger self, the one who cried after failing, the one who never gave up. He realized something very deep. When you work hard for a long time, the universe notices. It waits until the right moment to give you what you deserve. That moment had finally come. But even then he didn't stop. He didn't say, "I am done." He said, "This is just the beginning." The next morning, he went back to school as usual. He didn't act proud. He helped his classmates like before. But now when people looked at him, they saw something different. They saw hope. They saw what it means to keep going. The boy had changed. He had become an example. He had learned that real success is not about trophies or medals. It is about growing stronger, kinder, and wiser. He now knew this secret: success comes when effort meets opportunity. But opportunities only come to those who are ready for them. He smiled, looked at the sunrise, and said softly, "I was ready." And that was the moment the boy's life truly began to shine. Chapter 6. The Lesson. What he learned about never giving up. Days passed after the big competition. The boy's life started to change. People in his school looked at him with respect. His teachers smiled when they saw him. His parents were proud. But deep inside, the boy stayed humble. He knew that one success was not the end. It was only a step. At night, when everything was quiet, he often sat by the window. He looked at the moon and thought about his journey. He remembered the boy he used to be, shy, scared, and full of doubt. He remembered the times he failed, the times he cried, and the times he almost gave up. And now he realized something powerful. Every failure had taught him something. Every mistake had made him stronger. He smiled to himself and whispered, "All those hard days were not my enemies. They were my teachers." He started to write in his notebook. He wrote what he had learned from life. He wrote in simple lines, just like this: "Don't stop when you fail. Don't run when it hurts. Don't rush when things are slow. Keep walking, keep learning, keep believing. He learned that life is not about winning every time. It is about trying one more time, even when you don't feel like it. He learned that strength does not mean never falling. It means standing up again and again until standing becomes easy. One evening, a younger student came to him and said, "I saw you on the stage. I want to speak like you, but I'm afraid." The boy smiled and said, "I was afraid too. Everyone is. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage means you keep going, even when you are scared." Those words made the little boy smile. And at that moment, the older boy realized something new. When you rise, you can help others rise too. That is how success becomes meaningful. He began helping more students after school. He taught them how to speak, how to believe in themselves, how to face fear. He didn't ask for money or rewards. He just wanted them to know that failure is not the end. He told them, if you keep going, you will find your way. As he taught others, he kept learning himself. He learned that helping people brings more joy than winning prizes. He learned that the more you give, the richer your heart becomes. Sometimes he still faced problems. Not every day was bright. Some days were quiet, lonely, or full of doubt. But now he knew how to handle those moments. When things got hard, he told himself, "I have been through worse. I can get through this too." He had learned one of life's most powerful truths, that success is not one big moment. It is a collection of small moments, small choices, and small steps. Each step matters. Each mistake teaches you something. Each day builds your future. One morning, he was helping his mother in the garden. He saw a small plant trying to grow through a crack in the stone path. It was weak, but still pushing upward toward the light. He touched it gently and smiled. That's life, he thought. It doesn't matter how many stones stand in the way. The seed still finds its path to the sun. That plant reminded him of himself, the small boy who once cried after failing on stage, now standing tall and helping others grow. He wrote in his notebook again, "Be like the plant. Keep growing even if it's slow, even if it's hard, even if no one believes in you. Because one day, the world will see your light." He realized that never giving up is not about being strong all the time. It's about not quitting when you feel weak. It's about taking the next step even with tears in your eyes. It's about trusting that the sun will rise again, even after the darkest night. The boy finally understood what life had been trying to teach him from the very beginning. Every fall, every tear, every hard day had a purpose. They were shaping him into the person he was meant to become. He closed his notebook, looked out the window, and whispered, "Now I understand." And in that quiet moment, he knew that the greatest lesson he had learned was this: the secret of life is not in never falling, but in rising every single time you do. Chapter 7: The Message to You. You are that boy. The boy's story had reached its brightest point. He had fallen, learned, waited, and grown. He had discovered what it truly meant to never give up. But this story is not just about him. It is about you. Yes, you, the one watching this video right now. The one who has also faced pain, failure, or doubt. The one who sometimes feels like giving up. The truth is, there is a part of that boy inside you. Maybe your dream is different. Maybe it's not about speaking or studying or winning competitions. Maybe your dream is to learn English. Maybe it's to get a job, help your family, travel the world, or simply become a better version of yourself. Whatever it is, the message is the same. Don't give up. Life will test you. It will make you wait, It will make you fall. Sometimes you will feel lost. You will question yourself. You will wonder, will I ever make it? But remember, the boy also asked those same questions. He also cried. He also doubted. Yet he kept going. You see, everyone wants success, but not everyone wants to face the struggle that comes with it. The boy learned that success is not about luck. It is about patience, faith, and small daily steps. Every small action counts. Every effort matters, even if no one notices it now. So when you study and feel tired, remember the boy. When you make mistakes while speaking English, remember the boy. When people tell you that your dreams are too big, remember the boy. He didn't stop when others laughed. He didn't stop when he failed. He didn't stop when things were slow. He kept moving. And so can you. There is a light inside you, just like the fire inside him. It may be small today, but if you protect it, if you feed it with effort and belief, one day it will shine bright enough for the world to see. Maybe today you feel like nothing is changing. Maybe you're tired of waiting. But remember this: nothing grows overnight. Even the tallest tree begins as a small seed. The night is darkest just before the sun rises, and your sunrise is coming. You just have to keep walking toward it. Never say, I can't. Say, I will try. Never say it's too hard. Say it may be hard, but I'll find a way. That's how winners think. That's how dreamers become doers. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. The boy who never gave up became someone people admired. But he didn't become great because he won a trophy. He became great because he refused to quit. You can do the same. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be persistent. Look around you. Every person who ever achieved something great started exactly where you are. Unsure, scared, and full of doubts. But they took one step, and then another, and another. That is all you have to do. One more step. If you fall, get up. If you fail, learn. If you wait, believe. And when you finally reach your goal, look back and smile, because every tear and every moment of struggle made you who you are. The world is waiting to see your story, your success, your light, but it will only see it if you keep going. You are stronger than you think, you are braver than you believe, and you are capable of more than you can imagine. Remember, the boy who never gives up becomes the person who inspires the world, and that person can be you. Tiami permitted, so don't stop now. Don't lose hope. Your time will come. Your hard work will shine. Keep believing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. Because someday, someone will hear your story, the story of the person who never gave up, and it will give them hope to keep going too. If this story touched your heart, then take a moment right now. Click the like button if you believe in never giving up. Subscribe to this channel if you want more simple and powerful English stories like this one. And in the comments, tell me, what's one dream you will never give up on? Remember, your story has just begun. The world needs your light. Keep shining.